it usually doesn't feel like a weakness. Boredom feels harmless, manageable, almost innocent. You sit down to trade. Charts are open. Levels are marked. You know exactly what you're waiting for. The market moves, but not in a way that matters. Candles form, but nothing completes. Structure is incomplete. Confirmation never arrives. And so you sit. At first, you're fine. You tell yourself this is part of the job. You scroll slightly. You adjust the chart. You watch price breathe. But after a while, something inside you starts to shift. Your body leans forward. Your eyes stop relaxing. Your mind starts looking for something to do. Not because opportunity appeared, because silence did. Trading is one of the rare environments where silence is required for success, but punished psychologically. There is no feedback when you do nothing, no validation, no sense of progress, just time passing, and most people are terrible at sitting with that. Boredom isn't just the absence of action, it's the absence of stimulation, and your brain treats that absence as a problem to solve. This is where accounts quietly begin to break. Let me describe a familiar day. You've already skipped 2 setups that didn't quite meet your rules. That felt good at first. Responsible, disciplined, you're proud of yourself. Then the market goes quiet. Not dead, just slow. Price drifts inside a range. No conviction, no momentum, just enough movement to keep your attention, not enough to justify a trade. You check the clock. Plenty of time left in the session. This is when boredom stops being passive. Your mind starts negotiating. Maybe this counts. It's close enough. I've seen trades work from here before. I don't want to waste the day. None of those thoughts are aggressive. None of them feel reckless. They feel reasonable. And that's what makes boredom so dangerous. Fear screams. Greed shouts. Boredom whispers. It doesn't push you. It pulls you. Slowly. Let me tell you about Kevin. Kevin trades intraday futures. He's not impulsive by nature. He's cautious, analytical. His worst losses don't come from emotional blowups. They come from slow days. When the market is active, Kevin performs well. He waits. He executes. He exits cleanly. When the market is quiet, Kevin falls apart. He trades inside ranges. He anticipates breakouts that never come. He takes entries with no real edge, just to feel involved. When you ask him why, he says, "I didn't want to just sit there." That sentence sounds harmless. It isn't. Kevin isn't trading to make money in those moments. He's trading to escape stillness. Stillness feels unproductive. Unproductive feels irresponsible. So he manufactures activity. And every time he does, his account pays a small price. Not dramatic losses, just consistent friction. Those are the hardest losses to stop. Now let's talk about silence. Silence in trading isn't empty. It's loaded. It's full of uncertainty, full of anticipation, full of unresolved possibility. Your brain doesn't like unresolved states. It wants closure. It wants completion. A trade provides that. Win or lose, something happens. The waiting ends. The loop closes. So boredom pushes you toward action not because action is correct, but because action resolves tension. This is why traders often feel relief the moment they enter a trade, even before it moves. That relief isn't confidence. It's the release of boredom. And your brain remembers that. The next time silence appears, it will push you again. Now consider this. Profitable traders spend most of their time doing nothing. Not checking every tick. Not forcing engagement. Just waiting. And that waiting doesn't feel heroic. It feels dull. That's why it's so rarely talked about. People love discussing strategies, entries, psychology, risk management, but very few talk honestly about boredom, because boredom doesn't sound like a real problem. But boredom destroys more accounts than fear ever will. Fear stops you from taking trades. Boredom makes you take bad ones. Fear limits activity. Boredom increases it. And excessive activity is poison in a probabilistic environment. Let me tell you about Laura. Laura trades swing setups. Her edge is solid. Her statistics are positive, but she constantly interferes with her own performance. She checks her charts multiple times a day, even when she knows there's nothing to do. She adjusts orders unnecessarily. She takes marginal setups just to stay sharp. When she doesn't trade for days, she feels disconnected, like she's falling behind, like she's not really a trader anymore. So she trades to feel legitimate. This is boredom mixed with identity. When trading becomes part of who you are, silence feels like absence of self. That's when boredom becomes unbearable. So you act, not to make money, to feel like yourself again. The market doesn't care about that. The market rewards patience and punishes interference. But patience isn't passive. It's emotionally demanding. You are asking your nervous system to remain calm in an environment that constantly signals something might happen. Your eyes see motion. Your brain anticipates opportunity. Your body prepares for action. Then nothing happens, and you're supposed to stay still. That goes against instinct. Humans are wired to respond to movement, to act when things change, to intervene when outcomes are uncertain. Trading requires you to override that wiring. Most people can't, so they fill the silence. They lower standards. They justify trades. They create reasons. And because boredom doesn't feel like an emotion, they don't recognize it as the driver. They think they're being proactive. They are not. They are being reactive to emptiness. The most dangerous trades aren't taken in anger or excitement. They're taken in dull moments when you're just tired of waiting. That's when you stop asking, "Is this a good trade?" and start asking, "Why not?" That question has ruined more accounts than bad analysis ever could. Why not feels harmless, but trading doesn't reward harmless behavior. It rewards selective behavior. Silence is the filter. The market is always offering noise. It rarely offers opportunity. Boredom makes noise feel like opportunity. That's why new traders trade constantly. They haven't learned the difference yet. Every movement feels meaningful. Every candle feels like a signal. Experience slowly teaches you otherwise, but experience only helps if you survive boredom long enough to learn. Most don't. They burn out first. They confuse screen time with progress. They confuse activity with effort. They confuse boredom with stagnation. And so they sabotage themselves. Profitable traders don't enjoy boredom. They tolerate it. They don't sit in silence because it feels good. They sit because they understand what happens when they don't. They've seen what impatience costs. They've paid that tuition. Over time, silence stops feeling threatening. Not because it becomes enjoyable, but because it becomes familiar. And familiarity reduces urgency. The first time you sit through a session without trading, it feels wrong. Like you wasted something. The 10th time, it feels uncomfortable. The 100th time, it feels normal. That normalization is where consistency begins. Because once silence stops provoking you, you stop forcing trades. And once you stop forcing trades, your edge can actually work. Most traders don't lose because they lack opportunity. They lose because they can't handle the space between opportunities. That space feels like nothing, but it's everything. It's where discipline is tested. It's where emotional regulation happens. It's where accounts are either protected or slowly drained. If you're honest, you know which trades boredom created for you. The ones that didn't quite make sense. The ones taken late in the session. The ones justified with vague reasoning. Those weren't mistakes in thinking. They were mistakes in tolerance. Tolerance for stillness. Tolerance for uncertainty. Tolerance for doing nothing. Trading is less about acting at the right time and more about not acting at the wrong time. And boredom is what pushes you into the wrong time. When you learn to sit in silence without needing the market to entertain you, something important changes. You stop searching. You stop forcing. You stop interfering. You don't feel powerful. You feel quiet. And quiet is where clarity lives. If this felt familiar, you're not behind. You're just seeing the real challenge clearly. If you found value here, consider liking the video. Subscribe if you want more conversations like this, and explore the other videos on the channel when you're ready. These are meant to be listened to slowly, especially on days when the market gives you nothing to do.